Unlike a lot of people who are fans of this genre, I have not, nor do I ever really plan to read the comics that films like Birds of Prey draw from. I find them overwhelming and honestly just not my thing. I love film and therefore will be looking at Birds of Prey predominantly from a film perspective. The research I have put into this video has shed some light onto why people had a problem with the representation of these characters, but I obviously do not share that opinion. With that being said, let's get into the video. I first saw Birds of Prey under some pretty terrible circumstances. I had just gotten off a 1 AM flight to Melbourne and had been awake for a total of 29 hours. I was hungry, tired, and wandering aimlessly around a foreign city. To stop ourselves from accidentally stepping out in front of a car, my partner and I decided to go and see a movie. For $20, we could sit in a dark cinema, safe from the world, and maybe even get some sleep. In the end, we decided on Birds of Prey, and holy shit am I glad we did. I didn't get a wink of sleep because this movie injected itself into my veins, and within seconds, I was hooked. For whatever reason though, and I am still trying to figure this out, Birds of Prey has all but flopped at the box office. Personally, this film was the most fun I have had with a DC film ever. Birds of Prey was a creative, colourful, loud, insane, risk-taking roller coaster of a film, and I couldn't take my eyes away from it for a second. I don't understand how people didn't have this same reaction, how they weren't as captivated and moved as I was from the get-go. I was watching Alex from High Top Films review Birds of Prey. If you haven't seen any of Alex's videos, he's inspiring. Definitely go check him out at High Top Films. And I think he honestly sums this idea up perfectly.
Birds of Prey isn't flawless, perfect cinema, but I think it's creative cinema, and that's what we need right now. $80 million movies that take a risk, that allow filmmakers full creative freedom, and perhaps most importantly, allow the people behind the camera to shine just as much as the characters we love already do.
We live in an age where comic book films are at what I would consider to be their most popular. Endgame and Joker alone were both nominated for Oscars this year, something that may have been unheard of 10 years ago. But a part of me is starting to become tired of these same comic book film movies being churned out at the box office. Suddenly, a film like Birds of Prey comes along and every character was a fantabulous breath of fresh air. I left the cinema inspired by the cinematography, the colour, the spectacle of the whole film. It was a comic book film I had been waiting for, but why wasn't it that for everybody else? I won't lie and say that I haven't been annoyed at a change in a book-to-film adaptation. That I haven't understood why a filmmaker would take such well-developed characters and scenes and change them so dramatically. I can think of numerous franchise films that have made some pretty weird decisions, but at the end of the day, I have also understood that what I am seeing is this filmmaker's interpretation. This is their adaptation, their voice, and they get to stamp it into a film because at the end of the day, this is their story. I'm just along for the ride. I have seen a lot of comments and views from people refusing to see Birds of Prey for many reasons. From its all-female cast and feminist propaganda to the implied romantic relationship between Roman Sionos and Victor Zsasz. The fact that people have already decided not to see Birds of Prey because of these reasons, and again, before I delve deeper into this, I want to reinforce that I do not read these comics, but it's fucking dumb. Now don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people out there who really like Birds of Prey, and even when they didn't, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I mean, duh, here I am making my own video. I guess what I want to focus on is the anger and judgment surrounding changing a character for the big screen, specifically Roman Sionos and Victor Zsasz's relationship. As I understand it, there was a bigger focus on the flirtatious relationship between these characters in earlier cuts of the film. But regardless, there are definitely romantic undertones between Sionos and Zsasz, and this has caused some annoyance with people. Some are saying that this is a step backwards for LGBT representation on screen. Ewan McGregor and Chris Messina, who play Sionos and Zsasz respectively, were asked numerous times if there was any type of romantic relationship between their characters. They often replied with wishy-washy responses and never really answered the question. So here, I agree with people. If you are going to make a character choice in terms of sexuality and people want to know if there is a relationship there, Answer truthfully. Yes or no, I don't think that probably should fit into this equation. But then there are people who are angered because Roman Sionos was never gay in the comics. Roman Sionos made his first appearance in the DC Universe in August of 1985 in Batman issue 386. For the past 35 years, this character has been adapted from the comics in many different forms. He has now featured in the cartoon TV series The Batman, the animated film Under the Red Hood, the Batman Arkham game franchise, Batman Gotham Adventures, The Batman Adventures, The New Batman Adventures, The Batman Strikes, Batman Arkham Unhinged, Injustice, Gods Among Us, and now the live-action Birds of Prey, just to name a few. My point here is that Sionos has been adapted a multitude of times, and Birds of Prey is just another adaptation. Another look into growing this character, changing him beyond what he was initially 35 years ago. Can you imagine how boring it would be if our beloved characters were never expanded upon? And I get it, sometimes it works and sometimes it really doesn't. But I love what Ewan McGregor did with Sionos. He looked like he was having fun. And yes, it was only sprinkled in throughout the movie, but I liked the implied relationship between Sionos and Zsasz. I mean, when did we stop having fun with these movies? It was also hinted at the beginning of the film that Harley had a previous relationship with a woman. Again, only slightly hinted at, but I can't wait to see if that goes somewhere. I really hope it does. And I know what some of you are thinking. You haven't read the comics, you don't love these characters as much as I do, and you're probably right. But books and comics are adapted. Characters and storylines change, for better or for worse. But sometimes it's nice to just sit back, relax, and have some fantabulous fun with one Harley fucking Quinn. Thank you so much for watching, guys. What did you think of Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn? I admit the title is definitely too long, but let me know in the comments below. Remember to go ahead and give this video a like if you like what you saw, and hit subscribe to see more LGBT content from me. Otherwise, as always guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye!